Welcome to the Ramen Shop. This is the official first episode of said Ramen Shop. Come on, grab a seat, join us here at the bar. Now,
Roll up, grab a bowl of ramen or something else if you're allergic to ramen like I am.
big sad.
Grab some rice ramen, rice noodle ramen.
Rice noodle ramen. Yo, that actually sounds pretty
Yeah,
good. I gotta try
it's
that.
good stuff. I like it.
Okay.
It's expensive though.
Probably. Okay. I am joined by my lovely co-host, Howie, from How Does One Person.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, there is absolutely no one here probably at the moment, but
Probably not.
it's fine. This is how it's going to be for probably like a
You know,
couple weeks or months
that's how
or
you're
years.
very all right. When you said it weeks, I was like, dang, you're optimistic, my guy.
Well, no, I was going for the whole years.
Up years, maybe for
Yeah.
more than likely. But
Yeah.
we enjoy it, and that's what matters,
Well,
right?
yeah, that is what matters. Cause big old hey, uh, this is good old time capsule plus chance to talk to my best friend. So I'm gonna get every chance to do that, and if people like to listen in,
Oh,
they can.
come
Uh,
hang out with us.
join, listen to rambunctious people talking about rambunctious times.
I like the thing is we know a lot of people are feeling pretty lonely and isolated at the moment. So, when I was in high school, when I was a young and lonely boy, I took a lot of comfort in just sort of making buds with people live streaming and doing YouTube videos, mostly gaming videos. So, I don't know. If I can be that for somebody else, then I'm down for it.
Honestly, for today's episode, we do have a specific topic we want to start off with before we already know that it goes downhill into 5 to 20 rabbit holes that we'll never recover from. And that topic for today will be our favorite movies. Movies in general, really. Just like what makes a good movie, why do we like movies in specific ways, and if movies are any good anymore.
This I look, you said we were talking about movies. I don't feel qualified to talk about what makes a good movie,
Well, that's just to
period.
us. It's always opinion based.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Like legit. Like some people will be like, the last good movie was from the 1970s and it was Shaft with starring Samuel Jackson. Like I don't know this person's movie taste, but my movie taste is different than yours. So it be like that.
It's just be that way.
uh I'll start off with saying what my current favorite movie is, and it might actually be different, but I've just been consistently thinking, I'm like, I think that's my favorite movie at the moment, but who knows? And it is good old Captain America Civil War. I really, really like that movie quite a bit. And
Mm-hmm.
it still stands as my favorite, even with Endgame and with all the other Marvel movies. I don't know, but I just really like that movie.
What about it do you like?
Um, I think I really like just the conflict because I love both sides. I love Tony's side, and I both love uh, good old Steve Rogers' side. I love Captain America's side, and it's just like watching these characters who have become best friends and fighting over stuff and knowing where each of them come from in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's just like it. You can see how there all these specific moments where you could see Cap was really close to joining Tony's side, and
Yeah.
the conflict of character and how good old Steve Rogers, our good boy, was.
Good old Steve.
He's like, okay, I finally got my friend back who I thought was dead and then was brainwashed and tried to kill me. He's now starting to feel better and starting to remember me. And now everybody thinks he did something which he didn't do. Of course, I'm going to protect my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And this overall, like, mad dash to try and get Bucky and put him down for bombing the frickin' UN when he didn't do so. and how there's just so much conflict and tension. I love the pacing. I love the characters. It was the introduction to both uh, Black Panther and Spider Man. And seeing
Mhm.
Spider Man in the MCU for the first time made me a giggly little schoolboy. Oh, dang. Because
Mm,
Spider Man's easily top five superheroes for me. Like,
yeah,
I love the boy so much.
he's
And
a good boy.
oh, and Tom Holland did such a good job portraying him. And even though it was kind of ham-fisted and slightly, it was still
Wow.
well, because no, you've never heard of this character before. He didn't have a film before, and he's just kind of put into the middle of the movie.
Look, I don't think that was avoidable.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it wasn't
yeah.
avoidable, and I was fine with it. I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
and the thing is like I think that's part of my movie taste is that if I'm able to forgive things that I can see that are actually just like bad things, I, I think your movie's pretty good. Um,
Mm.
and that was one thing. It's like it's unavoidable, but I still love it. And even though it's like having the suit come from the ceiling and be like, "No, I'm not Spider-Man." Boosh! And it's like, yeah, okay, I can see everything in this room. Like, I know this is you. Join me. And it was like, oh my gosh, it, it's just so much fun. It's a good fun watch. It's like I love the action, I love the drama, I love the tension. All of the actors' performances in that movie were
Mhm.
so on point. I don't think there was a bad performance in that movie.
Mhm.
Um, some people had problems with the villain. I'm part. I do like the villain. Uh,
Mhm.
Good old Baron Zemo is actually just really cool in concept, and I know he'll be back. He's gonna be in
Why?
He's gonna be
Sorry, go
in
on.
yeah, he's gonna be in the Disney Plus show as the villain for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mhm.
So that'll be cool. But it's a good way to
Okay.
bring him back because it shows that he became a villain because of the Avengers. And you're like,
Mhm.
he was part of all that destruction that Tony Stark had made. And you can see the consequences that Tony's trying to atone for and that he can't seem to escape his constant fear that that all of his friends are going to die because of him.
Mhm.
And oh, it's so good. And specifically just like the airport fight is still my favorite in all of the MCU. like
That was pretty fun.
Endgame had some dope moments, but the choreography of the or oh my gosh, the airport fight was so cool. It was so
Mhm.
good. And especially with like the ending, like for those who are watching and who haven't seen
Spoilers.
this movie, this has been spoilers. This is just, it's
Sorry
gonna
if
be like
you
that.
haven't seen Civil War.
Yeah, you haven't seen Civil War. Um, just okay. When Tony finds out that Bucky killed his parents,
Oh shoot, I forgot about that.
oh Lord, like my heart dropped. Like, oh no. It's like I had guessed it, but still, I was like, no, because Tony sees it. He sees the video of his parents dying.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot for a guy to
Yeah,
handle.
and just the whole thing. He looks at Steve and he's like, hey, I know he didn't do it, but he killed my mom. And then boom, and he just goes in to kill him. I was like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, so much drama and tension.
I.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm here's the thing. Um, I thought that this movie was boring, and I'm sorry about it, but that's what I thought. And I wish I remembered it better to have like a really intelligent discussion about why I felt like it was boring. I have ideas, but like, I mean, like it was a superhero movie and it had lots of potential that like got paid off sometimes, and other times was just kind of like, okay. I mean, I guess you can do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like the divided focus of the I don't know, when they're all fighting at the airport, like it didn't feel like they were really fighting because they're all just like, yeah, we're gonna fight each other, but you know, like we're chill. Like
Well, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it and the I don't know. I felt like there would be more drama if they were really like, all right, yeah, no, gonna fight for my side, and that was the focus of the movie. Um, cause like it is kind of the focus of the movie, but then also Tony's having a whole thing, and then also there's a different bad guy, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
fine at the end, and it's like, oh, just you know what, all that conflict, we're just nobody is mad at it. No one's mad about anybody else post this movie,
Well,
and
kind
what
of
kind.
the thing is there were consequences though. They were taken down to this freaking jail in the middle of the ocean. Like there were consequences, and like the drama between Tony and Steve lasted until the next Avengers movie. Like it was obvious they didn't want to talk, and even though there was still the phone if you need me, but that's the thing. It would have had to been Tony, knowing that his friend was in the right, would have to get over that to even message him. Like, and that was a big thing for him. It's like, and I completely understand your point of view. It's just like for me, I get engrossed in the superhero stuff because it's like I've already got so much built into it. I already know all the
Yeah.
characters, I know all of their stories, how they act, and all the stuff. And all of these movies assume you know that at this point. So it's just like I feel like if you're not completely 100% invested, or if you just kind of go into it being like, "Oh, this seems like it's a cool
I wouldn't
movie,"
say no, no,
I feel
no.
like
I
there's
was
plenty of stuff
excited.
though.
I've look. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I was really excited for this movie. I don't think I had like unreasonably high expectations, but I was like the idea of just Civil War as a concept has been interesting to me since I heard about it several years before they made this movie.
Yeah, in the
And so when
comics,
I
it's
saw that
very
they were coming
different
out with
though.
it, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be cool. This is gonna be really interesting. There's gonna be some good political drama and a lot of, I don't know, like hurt and stuff on both sides because they have to be divided because of this situation. They got to choose what's best for them and what they believe is right and really fight for that. And it'll be kind of heartbreaking because they have to fight each other. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it didn't like everyone acted well, but it didn't really feel like a big deal at any point. Like Tony, yes. Tony, yes. Cap, mostly yes. And at the end of it, it was just kind of like, yeah, maybe we'll be friends. I don't know. Like we're chill, but I don't want to talk to you, but we're chill.
Kind
And
of.
like that didn't seem like, and then for a little while they have tough time talking to each other, but like Uh, not for very long. That doesn't last
It
very
was
long.
years.
Yeah,
That's
but
years.
they don't have to talk it out though, do they? They just sort of are like, well, I guess we're doing this again. I don't know.
Well, the thing is like the the way that I perceived it when I was watching, it was more just like you could see it more in the small details than them actually blatantly telling you, this happened. Oh, we're gonna have to go through this. It was more like knowing glazes and like, yeah, I'm sorry, this, but we have to focus on the now, kind of jazz. Uh, and it's like I do understand people. Some people were mixed when it came to Civil War, and I could see their perspectives. Maybe I just get very engrossed into the small details that I can just see something different than other people. I don't know.
Well,
And I
I
do
don't
know
know that
some
it's
people really.
details.
Well, I don't know. Maybe because it's just like. Because you saw some of the stuff as boring, and I saw the stuff that you saw, but I saw it as exciting. And I don't know.
So where's the disconnect? I mean, here's the thing. Um, I'm the type of person. I have learned this over the last several years of playing D&D and watching shows that people have recommended to me. Like I'm the type of person that is I a fight, it might be like cool, but unless there is sufficient just melodrama, or unless there is a very solid emotional foundation of emotional investment, and emotional conflict for the characters, and then and that is conveyed, I I don't enjoy fights. Like they're pretty
Hmm.
boring unless that is very solidly in place. And everybody, like the fight at the airport was cool, but like everyone was just kind of like, all right, we're fighting, I guess. And not like in a like whatever, I don't know what we're doing here, but like but they were just kind of, it just sort of seemed incidental that they were fighting, and it didn't
Hmm.
seem to have, and nobody, like, was it, is his name Rhodey that like lost his
Yes.
legs or whatever?
Well, Rhodey, yeah, he became paralyzed from the waist down.
But he gets like robot legs and then is functionally fine, and also like Rhodey isn't a
Maybe, yeah.
primary character, so there are no physical consequences. No relationships are irreparably destroyed or seriously damaged besides Tony and Cap
I
don't talk
mean,
to each other for
there was
several years.
also Scarlet Witch and Vision who
Yeah,
had a
what about
romantic.
him?
They have romantic interest and are in love and are
Yes.
still fighting against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like they're fine later.
Well, yeah,
It doesn't.
cause it takes years. That's the thing. It's like there's years between these movies, and which is why they're fine later. And it's like, it.
Yeah, but like I just, I don't like that there are no like there are no consequences that, like, maybe there are consequences off camera, but if it happened off camera, then like why am I invested in the implications of this fight if it's all going to be resolved off camera? Why am I meant to care other than I get to see what would Iron Man versus Cap be like? Because I have no investment in that, which is also probably like different than your typical Avengers audience member.
Yeah.
Is you know, like people have lots of fun being like, who would win in a fight, Superman or uh Iron Man?
Yeah.
That's not an interesting discussion to me, and so that may be another issue. That may be
That
another
is.
like
Uh,
level of investment that is not there.
I do think that is an aspect, because me, I'm very big into that. Very much so. As in, like, I love
Mm-hmm.
watching death battles and I love all the discussion. Fights for me are very cool. I very like them, much like them. I do like the stuff that leads up to them, because sometimes a fight won't be as memorable if the build up wasn't as good. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just like the build up of this one. It's like I knew that the consequences were never going to be huge and detrimental, because this is a multi-billion-dollar franchise that is continuing with even bigger villains in the future. And that was
Mm-hmm.
how it was going to be. I was fine with that. And also, I feel like I've realized something else with my take with me in movies is like, even with bad movies, if my imagination can hype it up while I'm watching it, it becomes a better movie in my mind. So I guess I'm
Wait,
my
say that one more time.
so the thing is like, while watching a movie, my mind, because of good old ADHD, will go into two
Ooh.
places as well, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the movie, but I'm also thinking of like, yo, this character's like this with this character. Oh, I'm actually getting hyped because this character's interacting with this character in this way as I'm watching the movie. It's like two different
Yes,
things.
same.
Yeah.
Also, that's the primary thing for me. Like that should be more important, right?
Well,
But it didn't
yeah.
feel like that was more important.
Interesting.
It was
And
like, all right, Black Widow's here and she's gonna fight some guys, but she seems kind of bored. Like she's taking the situation seriously, but you know,
which
like
is
I don't know.
interesting, because it's just like when I watched that with that same thing, I was like, she seems so intent on this.
Well, because she's always intent. She
Well,
does her
yeah.
job, but
Yeah.
it just kind of felt like I'm gonna do my job. I'm fighting with Cap.
Well, yeah.
I think this is the right side.
Which is interesting, because it's just
Whatever.
like, yeah, because you saw it as like oh, she has so many conflicting feelings and all this and stuff. I think Cap's right, but I have to fight because it's my duty. And it's like we had different interpretations. It's like you saw
Well,
a scene and
mhm.
you just said that she's kind of like fine, okay, I guess I'm here. I Cap's like this. For me, I was like super invested because I'm thinking, yo, she's so filled with turmoil and all this stuff.
Is
This
she?
is yeah,
Where? Show me
honestly,
receipts.
receipts.
Receipts. I
Because
want to see receipts. Where is she? Where is she? Are you imposing turmoil because you think there should be turmoil, or did the movie express turmoil for this
that's the
character?
thing. I think if the movie shows bare amounts of turmoil, I intensify that
Oh,
turmoil.
okay. Well,
That that's
all right.
something that I do think is thing because that's what I think. That's what when I saw like her giving knowing glances or looking away, for me that was like 20-minute buildup of turmoil.
Right. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I know. Yeah,
I'm.
it's interesting because it's like
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I always say like I can understand why some people don't like superhero movies or don't like stuff like this because honestly I think it's like
Superhero movies,
well
though.
yeah
But
I know but like the thing is like they're cookie cutter films for the most part where you can tell what's going to happen and you're like oh this is what's happening here. It's a fun turn off your brain kind of movie for most people. For me I get very invested in them and I feel like I fill in
I'm
with
in neither
the emotions.
category.
Yeah.
Because, like, I am not afraid to do some work for a piece of media, but,
Mm-hmm.
like, a piece of media has to, like, if a piece of media is asking me to do work for them when they have not, because they either didn't want to, or, I mean, the thing is that because they gave a lot of time to Tony's backstory
Yeah,
with his
and his story.
parents,
Well, yeah,
and it's an entirely separate issue, and also this
it
other
is
villain,
key though.
like that was all good, but like because they gave that so much time instead of doing supposedly what the focus of the movie was to the extent it deserved, like I'm not going to invest extra work because they wanted to do a different story also in this movie that wasn't super about that. I don't know. And I will say that like it has been years since I've seen it. That's
Mm-hmm.
just the experience I remember having. um
Yeah, and I do find
and
it
yeah.
interesting because I could totally see how you could have that experience. For me, I just interpreted it in a way that where I was like, all of this was necessary. I feel like I know these stories, and
Mhm.
that's what makes it even more epic to me. And
And that's fine. And if that's how you want to do movies, like Godspeed. But I personally, I don't have the energy for that.
yeah, and for me, I guess I do have the energy for that for the most part. More recently, I like I said, I with movies and media in general, except for like YouTube maybe, um, I watch things. I know I tend to know all the secrets behind them and what makes them, and like all of the different things that make a film the way it is. So I'll know a lot of the things that they're going to do beforehand. So it's
Mm,
more just how are you going to keep me entertained, even though I know everything that's happening. Um,
yeah.
that's why I
I
really
go
like
into a
not.
movie cold.
Yeah, that's why I like. Well, yeah. The thing is like I try to go into movies cold, but I see movies enough to where I at the theater to where I'll see enough trailers to know movies that are coming out. And then there's also just like it's interesting because I have so many different tiers with movies. There'll be like so many movies that people are like, these are classics, these are godsend movies, love them to pieces. I'll watch them and I'll be like, yo, that was boring as fuck.
Like what? I want to know. I'm curious. I'm curious now.
Okay, movie that I couldn't get through was The Godfather.
Oh, I haven't seen The Godfather.
The Godfather is seen as, if not one of the best movies of all time by a lot of people.
I
And
have
for
heard that,
me
yeah.
to not even get through the first one, ooh, that would make a lot of people be like, well, I can't trust your opinion officially. Gone.
I'm
Boom. And you're like, oh, dang. And then I'll be like, yo, I freaking adore the Konosuba movie.
I all right. Here's what I want to know, I guess then is what is your criteria for deciding whether or not you're going to do emotional work for a movie or not do emotional work for a movie?
Ooh,
Because you could adore The Godfather if you wanted to, because it's
yeah.
an excellently made film.
Yes. And I understand
And
that part, and I can't say the movie's bad at all because I already know that it goes really well into its crafts and the shots and
mhm.
music and the acting. All are
Whereas
spectacular.
I
But
sort of doubt that Civil War is as good as The
oh, it's
Godfather.
not.
So like why are you doing a lot of work for Marvel
It's
in watching their
interesting.
movie whereas you wouldn't do that for Godfather?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like a lot. Because if I was to go off rating movies as like the best of all time by their craft and what went into the movie, it would be completely different.
Mhm.
I'm talking about enjoyment levels.
Yeah.
Because
So is it just
enjoying a
a matter of
movie,
personal interest? Like, all right,
yes,
I will put work into this movie that this movie did not do because I already enjoy what's happening or I expect to enjoy what's happening. Oh shoot, I almost died.
I do think that's
I'm fine.
part of it. Uh, I mean, it is interesting because it's like a lot of those Marvel movies upon rewatch aren't as good as when you watched it the first like at least two times. Like
Yeah.
The Avengers, it was a breaking movie at the time for some reason for some reasons, but upon
Mhm.
rewatch, most of it, other than some fun witty banter in the last fight, isn't that good.
Yeah. I really enjoy I very much enjoyed Endgame. Act 1 will be my favorite, maybe my favorite Avengers thing
Mm-hmm.
ever. And I was like on the edge of my seat like the whole second act.
Mm-hmm.
And then into the third act as well, but mostly that second act. It was really beautifully crafted
Yes.
in terms of like pacing and tension,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess it's easier to do a three-act structure when your movie is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But but nonetheless it was very well done. And but I the second time I saw it, um that second act, like pretty chill ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because the first time there's a ton of suspense because if they mess up one thing, they're totally screwed.
Yeah.
But the um but like once spoilers I guess for Avengers Endgame. Well, once you know that they pull it off, then there's no suspense anymore. And I think a lot of the Marvel movies have that same issue.
Yeah. It's true. It's just like you already know Oonga Boonga, big hero save day, villain finna die.
Yeah. You what?
What?
Unga unga what?
Oonga Boonga, which is just like caveman speak, is a meme kind of thing.
All right.
Yeah, where it's just like it's very. If you go Oonga Boonga, it pretty much means it's so simple even a caveman can know that this is how it goes. Uh, so it would be like Oonga Boonga, hero
Cool.
save day, villain finna die. That's
Nice.
and that's what I know with most of those movies. It's like, oh no, Loki hot and people like he's gonna come back three times. Yeah. Oh no,
Eh.
all the heroes die. But I know a movie coming next year that stars them. I think they're coming back to life. Uh,
Man, the thing about
Infinity War.
no, the thing about Marvel movies in general is that they're really great movie going experiences for
Oh
the
yeah.
most part. Like I've never had a movie going experience like I had watching Infinity War. Like at the end of it, I like we all it was such a bizarre feeling of just communion with not communion.
Yep.
Just I don't
Partnership.
know. Like we'd all been through something together and it was upsetting and we were all like what, and people were just talking to people they didn't know being
Oh
like,
yeah.
did that just happen? And it was awesome.
Hmm.
Same with Endgame. But like, I'm not, if I'm not watching, and then like, I'll watch the Spider-Man movies with my friends if
Hmm.
they invite me, but like, rewatching stuff, not as fun. But they
Yeah,
do really well, the whole movie going experience thing.
absolutely. And I can agree to that. It's just like a lot of these movies are good for the first, I'd say, three watches at most, and then past that you just can't rewatch. And it's like with only a couple of those movies, I have been able to rewatch like Civil War, and I still really enjoy. Um, it's like there are a lot of those movies I feel like nowadays where you can't rewatch them.
Yeah.
I'd say the Star Wars movies, the more recent ones.
Oh, in general.
Yeah, I
Boy, I would watch the most recent Star Wars movie again. That was a freaking wild ride, and I loved it.
uh
The editing choices were punchlines in themselves,
oh agreed.
and it was awesome.
Like like it's weird. It's like I wanted so badly to like the movie Mind with its flaws that I still couldn't, and that says a lot to me. it's, it's
Because of its flaws, and not in like a, not in, I'm not like necessarily even trying, I'm not hating on it necessarily. Like, Star Wars is goofy and
it
over
is
dramatic, and
agreed.
so
People
I
do put
enjoyed
too
that.
much stock into those movies. It's like I rewatched the classics. I like the classics
Hmm.
minus A New Hope. I think A New Hope's very overrated. Anyways,
I love A New Hope. I need to go back and watch all of them again.
dang.
I don't love it because it's like a really good serious film, but
Yeah.
it's just classic, man.
Yeah. It is classic. It's just like the problem is like I just don't like A New Hope, and it's weird when rewatching it. I was like, dang, all the magic for this movie is gone. Luke
Have you?
is so whiny.
He
He's
is whiny.
so whiny.
He's a baby.
He's baby. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is like I'm now spoiled by the current lightsaber fights and how cool and dramatic and full of tension they are and the choreography. So when it goes back to old men tapping lightsabers fencing
Hey,
style,
hey, look.
no, I know.
Look, it's not about the fight. It's about the narrative.
I know, but the thing is like even with the narrative, the, like I said, fight important. I guess.
This is once again where we diverge.
I know it is where we diverge.
It's goofy, but it doesn't matter because the character dynamics are good.
Yeah, and it's like, and I totally understand, but I remember recently somebody did like somebody went ham and redid that fight scene with the current style of lightsaber fighting. Oh, dang, did it look good! It made me really want that in the movie. And,
Uh,
and that's the thing. It's just like, I understand. Narrative is important and I like it a lot. But the thing is like, that hype builds up and I need both to be good for me to truly
that's fair.
appreciate it. And
That's
it's
totally
like,
fair.
I can understand from actual swordplay, it's actually pretty cool in its own right. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is like when you have such cool scenes as what's happened with the like Duel of the Fates in Phantom
Ah,
Menace.
the best.
Holy,
One of my
so
favorite
good.
movie soundtrack themes ever.
Oh yes, everyone hears it immediately. They just recognize it. They're like, yeah. Anyways, and recently, yeah, somebody showed a clip of this person who's so deep in the lore and he understands the story so well. He explained Duel of the Fates and it made me love it even more. And it's on Disney Plus and it's so good because it's these people who know the lore of Star Wars and they are talking about it. And I was like,
It's like a behind the scenes sort of
kind of.
situation.
Yeah, kind
Okay,
of like a
cool.
sit down at a table with like writers and fans. It was
Cool.
oh,
I love that.
yeah, and I heard Duel of the Fates and I was like, dang. Cuz because the way that this guy explained it, he was like, Duel of the Fates is called Duel of the Fates because it's deciding the fate of Anakin.
Yeah.
If Qui-Gon Jinn wins, Anakin will stay good. He would have actually been good because he would have been
I
the
mean, not
father figure
necessarily, but
that
he'd have a
Anakin
better
needed.
chance.
He'd have a way
Mm-hmm.
better chance, like way better chance, because
Yeah.
Qui-Gon was at the time he was the only big time Jedi that was advocating for feeling your emotions and loving and all that stuff and being and willing to be like a parent. He saw all of the potential in Anakin when Obi-Wan at the time saw him as Jar Jar level of like worthless, which is true because he was just like, what is this with another trash? And I was like, holy crap. It's like things that I didn't even look at or think of at the time. And that entire fight is if Qui-Gon wins, Anakin will probably have a way higher chance of being a good Jedi and like fulfilling like the prophecy and jazz. But if he loses and dies, Anakin's almost guaranteed to be part of the dark side.
Really hating on Obi-Wan out here. Like, you're right, but
Well,
it's, it's
true.
pretty harsh.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan only learns to love and all this stuff by the end. Like,
Eh. It's too late by the time he
Yeah.
figures it out.
it's too late by the time that he figures it out. And because Obi-Wan becomes a brother figure over time when Anakin needed that kind of fatherly love and advice and cherishing from the beginning. Oh, like
Yeah.
that, like it makes me appreciate that original the prequels because it's like I do like two of the prequels. It's like I actually now like the Phantom Menace a bit more. There are still some bad stuff for sure.
Boy.
Everything,
Man.
everything.
I love the Phantom
Jar,
Menace.
Jar. I still can't understand why that's George Lucas's favorite character of all time. Like legit.
What?
He said that in an interview. They were like, "Who is your favorite character of all time?" And he said Jar Jar Binks. I was
Here, wax on about Jar Jar for a moment. My dog wants to get into this room, and I don't
Aw.
have the heart to refuse her.
like, "Oh, sweet pupper." Yeah. So Jar Jar, very annoying. Used at the butt end of jokes. A lot of like gross jokes where there's like, "Oh, animal fart." Misa thinks that stinks. I'm like, no, I can't stand that. But then, and they try to redeem him in the later as like a freaking politician, which is a weird way to take Jar Jar. And you can understand why they did that, but it's like, no, he was never going to get that the moment that you put him as the butt end of all the haha funny fart joke laugh Misa think he fun haha so like everything with Jar Jar, no, there was some cringy acting when it came
Oh,
to like
man.
good old young Anakin.
But it's also like, have you
know.
seen A New Hope? Like,
Oh, I know. I like Phantom Menace more than A New Hope. And
I will say,
like,
I would say that Phantom Menace's script isn't as good.
yeah,
It's less. I don't know, but it still does a lot of what Star Wars does, which is
yeah,
be archetypically fascinating
yeah. It's
and do
interesting.
goofy space wizard things.
Yeah, and it's like I remember a lot of people hating the prequels because of the politics, which is interesting because I'm one of the few people that love the politics.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, interesting. A lot of people don't like the Clone Wars. I wonder why. When like half, if not more, of the movie is talking and politics.
I like the politics. I
Yeah.
haven't actually. I've never seen episode 3 before, and
That's
I
the best
really
one!
need to. I've heard simultaneously that that's the worst. No, I haven't heard. Not the worst one. The second episode 2 is the worst one.
Oh, it is the worst
But like,
one.
I've heard that simultaneously that episode 3 is the second to worst or the best, and I'm very
Personally,
curious to see what's actually going on in there.
it's like I actually really like the third. I actually think it's a legitimately good movie. There are some, of course, problems as
Yes.
usual, but there's a lot of cool things. And it's also thinking about it. It's like a lot of there are ways that the prequels could have been better. And this one dude,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, yeah, and there was this one dude who I think I talked to you about before one time when we were driving home, who put his idea that if we focused on Obi-Wan during the prequels, this entire story could be completely different and way better. And I liked his concept, and he was like a storyboard, or like, oh, dang, that was cool.
I
But I still haven't
don't
read the
remember
books.
talking about this.
Yeah.
But it has to be about Anakin. You
Well,
can't.
it's about
It,
Anakin, but it's just like he's still a crucial part because he and Obi-Wan were together for most of it. But if you just put it more on the point of view from Obi-Wan and show Anakin, but of course you can see it as
I
like
see.
the growing of his feelings and how that goes from
I would be into
like a
that.
second point. I think it was really cool and I really liked it. With the third movie, there was a lot of good fight scenes. There was a lot of good tension. The thing is like in the third movie, I think that's when I realized Hayden Christensen is actually a really good actor. He just
This movie was not his fault.
yeah, it wasn't his fault
The-
because there was one point where I saw just how good of an actor he is, and I was like, "Oh, dude, oh, that was really good." But you're gonna be cursed for the rest of time for this.
yeah.
Like,
The thing, man, there's a lot that can get between an actor and doing a good job and being
mm-hmm.
in a movie. And especially if you're a young actor, that can be pretty difficult. And like the character that he was asked to play, I think the thing is, these prequel scripts are, particularly the second one, pretty much just actual garbage.
Yeah,
But um
I say the
for the
world building's
people
really
who
good though.
have beef with Anakin being a whiny drama queen,
We know where that's
like
from though.
have you seen Darth Vader? He's dramatic as all get out. He
Oh
walks around
yeah.
in a giant jet black opera cape.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
he doesn't have to be that way, but he is.
Yeah, and
And
the
he's
thing
always been that way.
and
And if you thought that he was gonna have like a smooth, chill, serious, cool guy time as a teenager, I don't know how. I don't know I don't
yeah,
know how you could have possibly been expecting better emotional um just wrangling from this kid.
yeah.
He's gonna cry and yell all the time, cuz have you seen Darth Vader?
Honestly, and it's just like, and I do feel like a lot of people at that point had this perfect image of Darth Vader because they had read books and comics at the time because of so much had been built up by that point.
Mhm.
To see that cool drama queen character be dragged to tiny little pipsqueak who is like, "Oh, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough." No.
The dummy.
The dumb.
He's a dummy always. He's never not a dummy until he's like fully Darth Vader for a while.
Yeah.
And then he figures some things out, but it takes until Luke punches him in the face, basically. To it
Yeah.
thematically punches him in the face for him to go like, oh yeah, maybe this is not the best.
Yeah.
Like, the
Like that's the thing.
he's
Like, and it's like I've heard and have seen some of the dope things that Darth Vader has done in the now non-canon things. Like him in the video games and the side video games. He's done some super dope things. Like he was trying to take down Darth Sidious with an assassin Padawan that he trained up in secret. Yo, that's dope. I can understand. And then in the comics, there was one issue that everyone talks about, the coolest thing Darth Vader has done in terms of like flexing on
oh.
people. And what he did is that he decides to go to a rebel planet that he knows is trying to kill him with a present in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down to the planet all by himself. Constant assassination and attempts, takes them all down easy, goes all the way to the leader of that resistance, which is a princess there. And he hands her the present. She is, of course, tries to kill him again, stops, Bolt stops it, and he's like, "I would like you to open it opens it, and she sees dirt. And he
What?
says, that is the remainder of Alderaan. If you would
Oh,
like
nice.
to be, if you would like to be not where Alderaan is, I'd recommend you stop this now, princess. And then just
I
walks
love
off.
that.
And I was like,
That's rad.
yo, that is sick. Like,
Mhm.
so the thing is, if you have all that and you see and you've seen and read all that and you're like, this is one of the coolest characters of all time,
Yeah.
and then you see Anakin Skywalker, I can understand. But at
I
this,
can
but it's,
go ahead.
well, it's like, the thing is like, a lot of these people who have these cool views of the characters, it's all not because of the movies, in my opinion. It's because of the things that come after the movies. Like with
The
freaking,
non-canon things that
yeah,
come
the
after the
now the
movies.
non-canon, but were
You
canon
can't
at the
you
time. I
can't be
know,
mad.
I
You cannot
know.
be mad
That's
if
why,
that's what you're basing your expectations on.
I know, and they go so ham on that. Like, think about it. Boba Fett is seen as one of the coolest characters from Star Wars. Have you seen him in the movies though?
He's just a guy,
He's
kinda.
just a guy that's kind of just off on the side and has said two lines in all of Star Wars. One is like, "All right," and "Ah!" as he's dying. like, like,
Thing, yeah. Here's the
yeah.
thing about Star Wars. It it's destined to it was built in such a way that it should have been destined to at some point, probably about now, become public domain so people could
Honestly, that would be
properly
so
like
good though.
mythicize it or whatever.
But
Like
screw
the
Disney.
but screw Disney hard though. Like the the I mean it should be public domain,
Yeah.
and it should be public domain. It was built for that, like not intentionally, but it's is made for that purpose. For
Mm-hmm.
people to take it and remix it and do what they want and make their own content and retell it in their own way, and people can feel it and they want it and they're ready for it, which is why they're, instead of criticizing it as like, what were they trying to do, how well did they accomplish their goal, what does
Mm-hmm.
that mean for us, instead of doing that they're like, no, I didn't like that, do it different. Like that shows how ready people are for to be able to take this into their own hands. They're already trying to, but they can't because copyright and the so like people should be able to make out of this whatever they want. And it feels like it's going against the laws of nature for that not to be possible for
Mm-hmm.
them, to me. But the but given that things are not that way, I like when people are mad about it, when people have expectations that do not fit what is actually happening, and then they get really bitter about it. I'm sorry, but this, you can't really be that mad. This is sort of like, you can be mad that this is the way it is, but this is the way it is. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't say that it's not that way, because it is,
Honestly, because,
which is pretty tragic, to be
well,
honest.
yeah,
It makes me a little, it ticks me off a little bit
well,
that,
yeah,
this is the way it is.
because the best and worst things for big movies and franchises are fandoms. Fandoms can either, because usually they make the movies as big as they are, but they're also what makes it so hard to get into some of these movies, because the fans and people who love these movies will are some of the biggest haters of these movies as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like one
It's
thing that somebody said that I really like is when people are like, they're saying they're a Star Wars fan. I'm like, okay, you're a Star Wars fan, but you like 2 out of 9 movies.
Yeah. That sort of like falls into the purview of what I'm talking about with this like public domain thing, because I mean Star Wars is the type, like it's very like it's the whole hero's journey, and they're these very distinct archetypes. It's very classic, and you can do a lot with it, and it feels like Robin Hood. It feels like these much older stories that have been throughout time like remixed and people have done different takes on them and explored different ideas with them and applied these characters to other mediums, and that's just sort of what that's part of what stories are for. It's part of the natural lifespan of a story. But recently, um because of Disney, that has ceased to be a thing that is possible if it's owned by a big corporation, which if it means a lot to a lot of people, it will be. And so but so it's not public domain, so it's not, people aren't able to do this remixing and playing with the ideas on their own terms. But they are, but Disney itself is doing that with this story. They're taking these ideas and these characters and they're doing their own, like, this is a new generation of people, they're doing their own take on it. And but they're saying this is still Star Wars TM, and it is the same brand, and it is the same, we have the same actors, it's the same story, this is canon. And
Yeah.
and it and so it's kind of like they've said, no, I'm not gonna share, we get to do our own take and nobody else does. And I think that that vibe is also something that just ticks off the people that really care about this and want to make something new out of it,
Oh yeah,
whether
because
just subconsciously underlying, like they don't know that that's part of why they're mad. But I would be surprised if people that were mad about it didn't agree with that idea.
yeah, a lot of people do agree with that idea because I do feel like a lot of people do recognize that because it's just like you'd think about it because the executives, like the big heads, tend to focus more on like meddling with the movies than with the shows because that's why the Mandalorian and the Clone Wars
Mm-hmm.
are easily the best pieces of Star Wars media.
Good stuff. Even look, I started watching Star Wars Rebels. It's pretty good.
I
It's
Yeah,
a kids show,
yeah. Like
but
I saw the
it's
first
much
episode.
better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, like I saw the first episode. And I was like, this is way more focused to kids. But I'm going to give it a shot eventually. I want to finish Clone Wars before I give that one a shot, because apparently they coincide at some point story wise, and you'll be like, oh shoot,
Huh.
yeah. Apparently there's specific characters that come from Clone Wars that are in Rebels,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh shoot, okay. Guess I gotta watch that first. I guess they did
Mm-hmm.
that, and I hear that Rebels is actually pretty freaking good, and it's like, cause
Mm.
it's interesting, cause of course I go deep when it comes to like finding things out about things that I love. So when I hear about how the executives for the TV shows for like Marvel and for Star Wars, they don't meddle as much. They leave it to the creators because they're like, it's not as big of a money maker as say the movies, so we don't have to do as much. It'll make
They've
money
not been
really.
handed
Yeah,
this ancient tome that they have to get right on the
yeah,
first go, or else they will be burned at the stake.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's oh, because thinking about the people do call, I think they call it like the Disney saga with the most recent three movies. It had so much potential. It really did. Because
Yeah.
watching The Force Awakens, I actually still really like that movie. I think it's just a
I
way
had a
better
good time.
version of A New Hope, in my opinion. I just think it's a better
I
version of that.
disagree. I
Honest,
think
I
they're
know.
trying to do two very different things.
Oh, they
And
are.
that's
But the thing is, going off of J.J. Abrams, he wanted to take A New Hope and similar aspects from the both movies and implement them while telling a different story. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. And
Yeah, but I don't think they're like he's doing that, but they're I yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
well, yeah, because you have so many beats that are just on beat with A New Hope, like this person meets the wise old person. Wise old person dies. They blow up another Death Star, so on and so forth, and like
It's functionally the same movie in terms
yes,
of just the story beats and stuff,
yeah,
but like
but the deeper
the
aspects are way different.
they are so different that I think that in saying I think it's difficult to say this one is objectively better. I think it genuinely comes down to personal preference
That is the
for
thing.
just
True.
which story do you like better, because they're so different. They're the same, but they're so different.
Yeah, and that's yeah, because I usually say said argument because a lot of people do see the surface level and say they're practically the same movie, which is why I usually use that as the main argument, that I think it's just a better version. Um, but I do see the underlying stuff and how it is completely different, and I just like that more personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember walking out of that movie the first time with my jaw, I was slack jaw all the way from the car ride back home. I was just
Honestly,
slack
same.
jaw, and I was like, that was such a good movie, and Han Solo's dead.
I remember I made an extremely embarrassing Instagram post. I was so excited about it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that part of it was just getting to see a Star Wars movie be released in theaters for the first time
Mm-hmm.
was just a really cool experience and was so fun.
Yeah.
Um I don't know. It was like that was delightful, and it was really cool to know a thing about like major movie Star Wars
Yeah.
and like have a surprise happen, and
Mm-hmm.
then I know that a lot of everybody saw it coming, but I don't end up the way I watch movies, I don't see things coming.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't
And
even
the
think he would die. I never thought he would actually die because Ben legitimately looked like he was about to stop.
and
And
that's the point.
and that was the point, which they did, which the one thing those movies get right is Kylo Ren and his story. That
I
oh,
it's difficult for me to say the movies do this character's story well, because like the movies are sort of three separate entities.
they are. Absolutely. It's like
And so it's
yeah.
difficult to say like this is the story of this character,
Well, yeah, because the
because it's
first
like
was JJ's, the second was
it's like
completely.
it's like the Fallout games.
Oh
Was it
yeah,
Fallout
it was Fallout
who did
3
they hand
that
to a different
changed.
studio?
Okay, I thought Bethesda had them all, but
No,
okay,
Bethesda
because the first
handed one of
two,
the games. Oh, New Vegas, that's it.
oh, New
Everybody
Vegas,
loves New Vegas.
yeah,
And it's really good, and like it's the
still
sort of
need to
general
play it.
consensus is that it's the best of the Fallout games.
Really, I thought
And
Fallout
but
4
that's the
was
one game that they handed off to another studio to do.
true,
And so like and you can it feels different
and
than the other ones.
yeah,
And
that's like
that's sort of what happens with the new trilogy of Star Wars movies, except
yeah,
that it's that we're following the same characters, and this is supposed to be like the chronological story,
yeah,
these this chronological arc for each of these characters,
yeah, because it's
and
very
they feel
interesting.
really disjointed.
Yeah, they feel extremely disjointed because JJ set up a story, and he thought he knew it, but the thing is, Disney decided, hey, it would be cooler and get more buzz if the second one was directed by somebody different, and that. And while I actually still really like The Last Jedi,
Uh
minus
huh.
minus everything to do with the casino, screw the casino and that entire side plot. I understand what it was going for. It failed miserably, in my opinion. But the thing is like I can rewatch it and really enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's like if I as long as I skip the casino, I will love that movie. And
Yeah.
there are so many specific things that people point out that I am like, actually, yeah, you're right, but I don't care. Uh, like, hey, she could have just said from the beginning, this is my plan. You're right. She totally could have. People wouldn't have died, probably, actually.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to debate the finer points of the Last Jedi because
Yeah,
they've been debated to death.
they have been. And it's like, yeah, for me, I understand, but I can still rewatch that and still find enjoyment. And
Yeah.
with one of, if not the coolest, in my opinion, scene in all of Star Wars happens in that movie.
Which one are you referring to?
When warp drive into the Star
Oh
Destroyer.
yeah, freaking like everybody just held their breath. That was stunningly
I
beautiful.
watched that and oh, it felt like my heart stopped. Like, oh, like it was beautiful in the entire fight and the betrayal. I liked all of that. And because the thing is like, he, I'm trying to remember the name of the director. Ah,
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Yes, Ryan Johnson. Ryan
I
Johnson
have
had a
taken a new
complete.
interest in Ryan Johnson because Knives Out
Yes.
is maybe one of my new favorite movie. Not my new favorite movie, but it's one of my new favorite
Yeah.
movies.
It's like I of course really like Knives Out as well. I like Ryan Johnson and I like his movies. I think he
He's
did
great.
Looper, and Looper was a cool one
Oh,
for me.
really?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So he is a cool director and I like what he does. And honestly, I'm of the group that it should have the trilogy should have been given to him from the start. Because
I
I think he
agree.
had a completely different story that would have been
Yep.
very unique and very cool.
And his
Um,
storytelling style, like you see that whole like weird dream sequence with Rey. I don't know. The whole
yes.
the whole Last Jedi felt more abstract and sort of like I don't want to say like I mean like kind of fairy tale. Like it was more I don't know. JJ's too detail oriented.
Well, yes.
I think.
Yeah.
And like that can make for a really fun movie, but if you want to emulate the original trilogy, you're if you're JJ Abrams, you're going to have some problems and he definitely did. And I think that
Yeah.
if Ryan had it from the beginning, I think that that would have gone a lot smoother and felt more like what people were expecting when they wanted new Star Wars movies.
Yeah. Although there were some people that did want almost like a retelling, but in its own unique way, which is what JJ was bringing. Because there was a lot of cool stuff. And I do think JJ would have done fine if he didn't have to put both the second and third movie in the third movie. Um,
Yeah.
if it
He
was
he would have
properly
done
paced, I
fine.
think it would have been fine and people wouldn't have complained as much.
I
Uh,
don't know about that.
Honestly, because people loved The Force Awakens.
I think okay, I think that if either person had had all three movies, there would have been much less complaints.
Agreed.
Um and it would have just been better, period.
Yeah,
Um
it's
but like
interesting.
if we're comparing the two, I think that Ryan Johnson would have done a better job in general.
Yes, because I liked the tone and things that he said, and a lot of things that Star Wars fans will still debate me on, like Luke's portrayal in
I
that.
liked that
I
he didn't have
really
to
liked it as
I really
well.
liked
And the
it
thing is
and
like, oh,
Ryan Johnson doesn't explain every single freaking thing and I'm that's better for Star Wars because they don't they don't explain every single freaking thing in the original trilogy and if that's the sort of thing you want,
yeah.
I don't know. Star Wars is about space wizards
Mm-hmm.
and if you
Yeah.
and I don't think JJ was equipped to tell a story about space wizards. He was definitely
I think he
prepared to tell a
was,
story about
but
the Star Wars,
yeah,
but like the melodrama was way too dramatic in contrasted with I don't know.
it's
Blah, blah, blah,
interesting.
blah. I
Yeah,
think that Ryan Johnson is better with abstract drama.
agreed. Um, it's like, oh, because in retrospect, there's a lot of things that could have just been so well. So it's interesting just seeing, because now it's concluded. There's a definitive end, and we're left with such wasted potential. I'm like,
What do
oh,
you mean a definitive? Oh, to this
yeah,
trilogy.
to this trilogy.
Yeah, Star
And
Wars will keep going.
oh, of course it's gonna keep going. they they paid so much money to get Star Wars. There's no way they're not gonna stop. And plus, we already know that there's like spin-offs, and I am excited for the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, no matter what people
What?
say.
There's
Yeah,
been an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie?
yes, and it's
Who's
starring our boy,
which boy?
Ewan McGregor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
What?
back and
Okay.
everything. Yeah.
Interesting. Do we know who's writing it? Who's directing it? Do we know anything?
No, it's been a
Ah,
while because it's like
shoot.
because it was confirmed that it was filming a while back, but they wanted to keep things secretive because that's how they be. Um,
Okay.
so it all depends, but I do like that hat, and I think it's gonna be fun. Um,
All right.
I think it's interesting how this turned from taste in movies to Star Wars podcast.
But
Uh,
it's Star Wars movies.
Star Wars movies, true,
It's a
and
whole thing at the moment.
it is true. It's a whole thing, and Star Wars is in an interesting position. It's interesting seeing people's perspectives because it's just like uh, one movie reviewer that I'm a big fan of, Jeremy Johns. He was one of the biggest Star Wars fans, and it was sad because he was a fan since he was a kid. He loved The
Mm-hmm.
Force Awakens, but then The Last Jedi came out and his perspective and all this stuff and his views on the movie, and he was like mixed. He's like, I like some of it, I don't like some of it. And then with the last one, the thing is, for all of his Star Wars stuff, he puts on his Star Wars sheets that he had when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, he
That's
didn't
really
have it on.
cute. Oh, buddy.
Yeah. Like,
I'm.
because he's like, I can't feel
Mm-hmm.
excitement for Star Wars anymore.
Yeah.
They ruined it that bad for him. And I was like, oh, dang. Like,
I think yeah.
yeah.
The problem with the with Disney buying and then continuing to make Star Wars things is that there's not a clear understanding that Star Wars is over. It has concluded.
Mm-hmm.
This is like we know that like that was made by one group of people. This is made by a different group of people, but it's not just because it is branded officially as Star Wars by people who
Mm-hmm.
own it doesn't mean that it's going to be good or the same thing.
Yes.
And the I like it really sucks that people went into like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
I
just sort of
know.
generally sucks overall.
Yeah. Because it's like, the general consensus is right now, and minus The Mandalorian and Clone Wars, it's not the best time to be a Star Wars fan because there's a lot of turmoil and discourse, and the consensus that the recent movies haven't been that good, and now it's officially been ended in terms of
I
like
think
that storyline of the Skywalker storyline.
I think that we're now about to enter though like sort
A
of the
new
next
age.
age. Yeah,
I
exactly. And
I'm
a new hope.
optimistic. Yes, a new hope. I'm actually
Because
optimistic for that because if they decide,
mm-hmm.
which I'm really hoping for once Disney learns, is to just give it to people who are passionate. Actually, that one guy that we were talking about earlier, who was talking about the lore. If you can get him as a writer,
Yeah.
holy crap! I'd be very excited
I
for
mean,
stuff for Star Wars.
yeah. I
And
still don't I still don't think that um enlisting fans to create the content for Disney is will necessarily go well. Just look at the most recent season of Doctor Who.
oh,
The
I
most
haven't.
recent couple seasons of Doctor Who.
Oh no.
Um the because they see like this is wrong about this, I'm going to fix that and frequently
Yeah, the
dramatically
people that are
overcorrect.
going back to, well, it all
And
depends. If
I
if
just
their
want Disney to let it go.
guideline, if they're,
I want them to let it go so bad.
well, we already know that ain't
It doesn't
happening.
belong to them and they don't care about it. I want them
Oh,
to set it free.
absolutely. They want, but they'll never set it free because they paid, what was it, 6 billion?
It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter how much they paid.
oh,
It
for
matters
them
that
it does.
how profitable. No, it matters how 6 billion. I don't know. It matters how much Star Wars makes because
Yes, and it
that's
has made them back at
it has
least 6
certainly
billion.
made them back. Yeah.
But the thing is, now that they know that they've gotten back their investment, you can see that they can make even more because they want to milk. And seeing that The Mandalorian was successful and bringing back the Clone Wars for its final season was definitely successful, they're gonna bring even more films. And
I
and the thing
I
is,
don't
it's
like.
interesting because the thing is, one thing I can't agree on is like more and more as time goes on, I like indie in terms of like indie
In
produced,
what?
well,
Oh,
indie
oh, I thought you.
films, indie games,
Gotcha.
indie everything way more now because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's so much more unique. I think the storytelling's better, everything, and it has so much care put into it. And now seeing all of the corporate stuff that you can obviously tell is corporate stuff being shoved into some of those bigger films, they're not as enjoyable in some aspects. Like the Porgs from The Last Jedi. The Porgs,
I like the Borgs.
I
They're
think,
goofy.
I know they're goofy, but still, the moment I saw them, I was like, okay, that's just
Do you
for
know?
merchandise.
No. Do you know why? Well, yes, but do you know why the Porgs are a thing?
Why?
It's because the island they were filming on was absolutely infested with puffins, and
Yep.
they had to edit
Yeah.
them to be aliens. And they were, and like it was a beautiful moment of capitalism mixing with just we gotta solve this problem.
Honestly.
Um, and so like yeah, they're extremely marketable, but also like they something had to be there because like it was easier to go in and edit the puffins than try to go in and remove the puffins. And even if it wasn't easy, even if that's just hearsay, it's easier to edit them. It was a really good marketing opportunity, and I respect the hustle. I like I there was a practical reason why it was not, they didn't just go, let's add some goofy alien boys. They had a problem that they had to deal with, and they capitalized on that magnificently.
Mm-hmm. Like, uh, honestly, that is a really funny story. I really like it. Like, because it's just like nature saying stop, and they're like,
Oh my
no, we
gosh.
shall take advantage. Um,
I think here's what makes me mad about that. They took a bunch of career opportunities away from so many puffins. That
yeah.
could have been the make or break moment in the acting careers of so many puffins. And that upsets me. I don't think
Oh,
that's fair of Disney to do. I think that's kind of, I don't know. It's just cold blooded.
yeah. Now that we're just talking about Disney, I'm just been thinking because the Disney Empire is at its height at the moment, and everyone's hating it, but they still go to see it because they now own, because half of the movies that come out in a year that are major blockbusters are by Disney. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
I'm I'm not actively avoiding going to Disney
oh
movies,
yeah, I'm not
but
either because I enjoy their movies still,
besides
except for the live
besides
actions.
this besides the Star Wars movies, I don't think I've like and like we watched Onward
I
on
haven't
like
yet.
freaking Disney Plus or something. We do have Disney Plus.
We do too. Yeah.
Um but like I'm not going out to see Disney movies really. It's not,
It's
I they're not making anything interesting
well, well
anymore.
that's the thing. Well, it's like some of them are interesting, but some of them aren't. Like the live action remakes are not interesting to me, and I just can't support them. It's like
Nope.
with The Lion King. I will never watch that live action remake. It was interesting because of who they cast. I was thinking about it, but then I saw the visuals
It's
and
just
I
pointless.
couldn't. It's
Just why?
pointless.
What's the reason?
There was
Like I
it's
can
money. There's
understand.
only money. We know that
I
at that
well,
point.
I know it's just all money, but
But
like,
they could have
I
done so
mean,
much more because it's like I'm still of the mindset that there are only two good live action remakes made by Disney so far, and that's the Cinderella. I actually like that one. I feel like I like the characters more, and they do flesh them out more in some aspects, and the Jungle Book because I love Jon Favreau, and it's not a one for one of the original movie.
I have not seen the Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book's decent. It's
I've seen a
not
clip of the
really
Jungle Book.
good. It's not bad. It's just it's a fun time actually.
You have Bill Murray as the bear,
Yes, which is a
and that
good
sort of tells
casting.
you everything you need to, like, my understanding is that tells you everything you need to know about the movie.
Honestly, well,
In terms of tone.
well, not completely, but like there's because I do feel like Bill Murray was a very good casting choice for Baloo, and he does a good job, and I like that. I like Mowgli. I think it's that he's a good kid actor, and everything's actually kind of riding on him because if you think of the behind the scenes, the entire movie was filmed on a green screen.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to act as if every single character and set piece was real. And this is like a
Yeah.
10 to 12-year-old kid. And he did a great job. He made it seem as if everything's real. I was like, dang, okay. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some fun, and there's some scenes that aren't good, but they're kind of bad enough to where they're good.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically when they go to the monkey temple.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh, what's his name? Something Walker. He's the voice of King Louis.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. He talks like this or something like that. Oh gosh, that was bad. But like, he has a very weird speech pattern that's very recognizable. So him playing King Louis was a very entertaining scene. Was it good? I wouldn't say so, but it was very entertaining. Because the thing
Yeah.
is like he was like half singing the famous song.
Mm-hmm.
He's like walking around trying to catch Mowgli, and he's this gigantic orangutan. Like
Oh my gosh.
he's like the size of my room, and, and he's like, "Oh, whoopie doo, I'ma be like you." He's trying to catch Mowgli. That's entertaining. I don't care, and yeah. So it's like I stand Jon Favreau, great director. He did what he could, and it was like, entertaining, and I like that one. And I hear the Aladdin one's good. I do. I hear that it's good
It's
from my
not.
friends.
It's not.
Cause yeah, it's interesting because
The
Aladdin
costumes
is,
are fun.
and I do hear that some people really like Will I Am. Well, not Will I Am. Will Smith. What the
What?
frick? Yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith very much like he made the character his own, and
Yes.
you know it's Will Smith as the genie. Like there's nothing unexpected there. Like he was kind of a good time. The script is dumb and weird, and the effects were goofy and
Yeah.
dumb, and the music was
I hear the music
bad.
wasn't good.
The like even the songs that were from the original movies, like they from the original movie, they mixed the sound badly, and it's very clear, and it's quite unfortunate.
It's weird because Aladdin's in my like top 5 best Disney movies. Personally, because I just really enjoy it. I like the characters. I like the music. Robin Williams, of course. So I just, and it's like if there was a person that I think could be the genie, it would have been Will Smith. I feel like he's charismatic enough, but I just couldn't get into it. Plus, at that time I just didn't want to see it. But it's weird because I do get mixed. Like you said, you think the movie's bad. I had some friends who watched it who are huge fans of the original say it's a good time.
That's yeah. I'm not. The thing is, like, I don't think I'm an objective viewer, but I'm not bringing nostalgia into the watching of these live Disney movies for the most part.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen these movies in years. Aladdin was never my favorite. I do very much love Robin Williams as the genie, but like he was probably my favorite part of the animated film. But like the thing I was least mad, like I wasn't mad about this movie, but the thing that was that I enjoyed the most about this movie was Will Smith's genie. So like
so it's
I don't
just
know,
the genie is the only good part for both. Okay.
Like the thing is, yeah, I don't think the genie is the only good part of the animated Aladdin, but
with the animated, I really like the music. I think the animation's really good, especially for the time that it came out, and I just think it's very grand. I like Aladdin as a character. He's a rascal. He's very charming. Princess Jasmine, she's very strong as a character, and I like her. I love Jafar as a villain.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, because Jafar is so sinister and creepy.
Yeah. Sorry, I just looked at the chat. Are we addressing the chat in these?
Dang, do we actually have a chat for once? Oh, dang!
Yes, we have chats.
Oh, sorry. Because the thing is,
I was watching it, but I didn't know what you wanted to do with that.
Oh, we can address them. I'm so sorry, because it never popped up for me that people were in the chat. It just did. Dang.
I just watch it separately on my phone. Madeline Anderson wants to know if we have any thoughts on the theory that Jar Jar is a Sith.
Honestly, I love it so
I'm
much.
delighted. It delights
So
me.
much. I adore that. That was so funny. Uh,
Hmm.
welcome, Galaxy, if you're still here. Welcome, Vincent. And
Hi, and I oop.
Luna. It's Luna. It's- welcome, Luna. I'm surprised because the thing is, there was no. I don't think there was any notifications. So I'm.
Are you supposed to?
Well,
I don't
the
know.
thing is, it's like those notifications will come out when the podcast ends because I just didn't want to go and make a
Oh.
tweet.
I see. I made it sweet. I made it sweet.
Oh, that's cool. That maybe that's for some people.
I don't think
Friends
anyone's
stuff.
come through it, but it's
But
fine.
yeah, it's just like at this point we're at the beginning of this podcast journey that people will actually listen to. So I was like, okay, I don't think that many people will listen, but for those that are listening,
Hello.
thank you for being here. We'd love to have
Yeah.
you here. It's a fun
If you guys
time.
have thoughts about these movies, like post them.
Oh yeah.
Very curious.
Honestly, I do think eventually, if this podcast for some reason does get bigger and we have more people,
Some
I
reason.
think for some reason, I feel like discussions would be pretty fun in the future because I could imagine just some person having like a hot take and us
I
going off
would be
on that.
thrilled.
Oh yeah,
Bring us your best hot takes.
Honestly.
That's gonna be an episode theme, and I'm excited.
that is an episode theme, and I can't wait for that. So, movies, good. Recently, want more.
Well, I mean,
it depends because
you
there
saw
was.
Knives Out. Did
Well,
you
yeah.
not go see Knives
I
Out with
did
me?
see Knives Out. No, I didn't see it with you.
Who did I see? I brought I went and saw it 4 times, bringing different people each time. So
I
it's
only
like
saw it
together.
one time with my dad, and he loved it.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Hi, Dad.
It's weird because my favorite movie of last year wasn't Knives Out. It was Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit was so good.
So
I
good.
love that movie. There were
that's
some
in my
tonal
favorite
issues, but I
films.
don't care. It was great.
For me, I understand your position on total issues. I thought it was seamless, personally. Anyways.
Oh dang. Okay. Sam Rockwell though. Sam
Oh,
frickin' Rockwell. He look, here's the thing. JoJo is by no means one of my favorite movies. I did really, really enjoy it, and Sam Rockwell was probably my favorite part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what it is about Sam Rockwell and my favorite movies, but like my most favorite movie is Galaxy Quest. Sam Rockwell has a starring role in that. One of my second or third favorite movie is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Sam Rockwell had a starring role in that. Like I don't know what's and now Jojo Rabbit is not like it's not in my top 10 or anything. I did really enjoy it and I would see it again, but like he's just sort of happens to be in all of my favorite movies. Not all of them, obviously, but like a good. I don't know. He picks his movies well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Good agent.
Yeah, there's plenty of things. Like when you said Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I was like, oh dang, you're one of the few that really like that movie. Like
what?
Yeah, it's like
I'm not a minority here. Get out of here. What? It's a great movie.
Everyone who read the book says the movie's awful.
Well, they're uptight.
And that's the thing is like they're uptight. I enjoy the movie, but I haven't read the book, and it's like
The book is fun. It's different though.
Yeah.
Not just in what happens, but like the general vibe is a bit different.
Yeah.
I would say that the second book more sort of fits the vibe of the movie than the
and so
the first one does.
it's just like I really enjoyed the movie. I think it's a really good movie. It's been a while, so I can't say whether it's in my like top 25, but it's a really good movie, in my opinion. But I've recently seen more people hating on the movie than loving it, so that's why I was like,
I've never seen anyone talk about this movie ever.
Really? I feel like there's a lot of people that make memes about it and people do talk about it every now and then, but it's now deemed as an older movie, so people also don't talk about it as much. Some people say
I don't expect to see people talk about it.
Yeah, and then when people say cult classic, then the people who don't like the movie come out of the woodworks. And, so it's like, of course, whenever I now think of a dolphin, I think so long and thanks for all the fish.
So long, thanks for all the fish.
Yeah.
There's like if I'm dragging you, there are 3 movies that I have like physically grabbed onto people and dragged them to go see or to come. Like, I'm
Hmm.
like, all right, for my birthday party, we're gonna watch Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I need the
Yeah.
people in my life to have seen this.
I,
And
hmm.
those 4 movies, are Galaxy Quest,
Hmm.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Uh-huh.
What's Up Doc,
Uh-huh.
and Knives Out, all of which you have seen. The
Yes.
first 3 possibly because of me.
Oh, no, okay. Galaxy Quest I saw because my dad has the DVD and
Oh,
loves the
good.
movie, and I watched it before.
It's my favorite movie. It's
And I haven't
infinitely
watched it with you,
rewatchable.
so
We gotta.
I want to rewatch it. And when we were and with the documentary that's apparently come out now, I hear that that's
I
also
don't know where
good.
to find it.
I
I want to see
know.
it so bad. I was at school. I couldn't
Yeah,
see it.
because it's a Screen Junkies thing, which I think is interesting that they made a
Ah!
documentary. And so I do want to see it. With Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I saw that before as well. I watched it when it came out because my family's a bunch of movie buffs, but it's interesting because I don't agree with my family's taste. And they're the type that told me, "Yo, Justice League is a dope movie. You'll love it." No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, yeah, interesting. Anyways, and What's Up, Doc? You did introduce me to. I
Oh
would
my
have never
gosh, that
seen it if
movie's
it wasn't for that one
beautiful.
awesome birthday party back in like 2011, 2012.
All of my birthday parties are forcing my friends to indulge in the media I love.
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying to think because it's like it's hard for me to ever define what would probably be my favorite movies of all time. It's like I really like Jojo Rabbit. It
Yeah.
jumped to like top 10 for me. Because it's just like that sense of humor, and even though I understand tonal issues, I still feel like it was actually perfectly like balanced for what it was telling.
I think it would have been. I think it would have. I don't know what it could have done differently.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't
Yeah,
think they could have done anything differently for the
which is
topic.
why I'm not that mad at it.
Yeah, and all of the acting was so good in that movie, and
So good.
oh, I just love it all. And I'm a Taika Waititi stan, and I'm going to try to watch
Honestly,
the rest of his movies because I hear What We Do in the Dark. Oh no, What We Do in the Shadows
that was Taika
so good.
Waititi.
Yeah, yeah,
Bro, bro, that movie's so freaking funny. Oh
yeah,
my
and I
gosh.
need to watch that one.
What are we? Werewolves, not swearwolves.
Yeah, so that's Taika
It's
Waititi,
such a good movie.
and he did one of my favorite MCU movies with Thor
I
Ragnarok.
had a
Like,
grand old time with Thor Ragnarok.
yeah, because that one's
It was
just
not good, but it
fun.
was fun.
Well, I think it's good because it's fun, and so
Yeah,
yeah,
in terms of like technical and like narrative cohesiveness and quality, like it's like not that great, but like it's a good time. And like for some movies that's all it's gotta be.
yeah,
In terms of what defines my favorite movies, they're movies that I can watch forever.
yeah.
That I do not get tired of, or
Shark Boy
like,
and Lava Girl.
oh my gosh, I do not get tired of, or they get better with every single rewatch. And those 4 movies I mentioned earlier are in that list. Inception might be up there, but it has been a really
Yeah,
good. It's been a while since
agreed.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I need to
Um,
rewatch that. I do love everything by Nolan so far that I've seen by him. I do
and I
need
would
to watch Dunkirk.
Lord of the Rings might have been, but it's not
Never
anymore
watched it.
because I've seen. What?
I've only watched the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh no.
And I'm one of the few people that liked the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh,
I do feel like
buddy,
it is.
how? Why?
Okay. I read the book,
It's so
and it is
bad.
very,
No,
very
no,
like
no.
it's
Not even in
elongated.
relation to the books. Not even in relation to the book. It's not.
I like the.
Legolas Mario jumping
Okay,
up
that
the
was
like.
hilarious.
I don't. I don't.
Like the thing is like the thing is if you've never watched The Lord of the Rings, I think these movies are fine.
We gotta watch the Lord of the Rings.
But if you've watched The Lord of the Rings, I already know
We're gonna
the
watch Lord of the Rings, and
Hobbit
you're gonna be like,
isn't
"Oh,
good.
I see."
Oh, I already know. But the thing is, they're two completely separate things, and
They
I
are.
already know that they should not have tried to make it feel like the original Lord of the
No.
Rings
It
'cause,
should not
yeah,
have.
you
It's
should
a
not have.
completely different genre of book, and
Yeah,
even
and the
it's a
thing is
completely,
like,
it's an entirely different kind of story.
and it's like I've liked a lot of different things. Of course, I do think The Desolation of Smog is actually a legitimately good movie.
Boy, yes, everything having to do with the actual Hobbit is great.
Yes, yes, and
And
the
not
yeah,
just because it's from the books, but because those parts of the movies are just better.
yeah, and that movie was actually really good, and
I enjoyed
especially
Desolation of Smaug.
everything to do with Smog and oh,
Benedict Cumberbatch is absolutely brilliant. And did you know that he went to clown school?
what?
That man has had some serious physical training in acting. And the okay, guys, I don't know if you're into plays. And actually we gotta close out like
Oh, right
in the
now.
next couple of minutes. But like but like okay, really quick.
Yeah.
The what's it called? Like the National Arts Theater or the National Theater or whatever is hold on. Just let me pull it up because it's really cool. So the frick, where is it? There's like the National if you the National Theater on spelled like
Yeah,
TRE
yeah,
on
theater.
YouTube. Each week they're released, so they've recorded all of their plays
Mm-hmm.
that they've done for the last however long,
Mm-hmm.
and it's years actually, and they are releasing them for free 1 week, 1 week at a time for 1 week only every Wednesday on YouTube because of the whole situation going on. And they had it's gone now, but they had a production of Frankenstein starring Benedict, and an adaptation of Frankenstein starring Benedict Cumberbatch and oh shoot, what's his name? Oh no, what's his name? He's the frick. Hold
Oh,
on.
we really gotta end. I actually have somebody
I
that's going to be here.
I gotta go too. I know. Hold on. Benedict Cumberbatch, Frankenstein.
Oh, for all those who are
Ah!
listening, this is how the tone of the podcast will be for the rest
I
of the
know.
time. Even if
Hold
we
on.
don't think it's going to last more than an hour and 15 minutes like we promised, it will.
Okay. Johnny Lee Miller, that's his name.
Okay.
So the starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller, and they did one production of where Benedict Cumberbatch was Frankenstein, and they did another one where they swapped roles
Interesting.
and between the scientist and the creature. These and then they just did Antony and Cleopatra with freaking Voldemort as Antony, and it's like some incredible stuff, and you should really check it out if you are interested in acting and story, and if you like plays.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I just want to plug that because it's just freaking cool, and I think that everybody should go check it out.
If anything, this will inspire next week's topic. Well, not next week, but bi-weekly.
The week
Yeah,
after
the week
that
after.
one.
We'll talk about theater and musicals.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm excited.
Yes. I'll just make sure to remind you, and we'll talk
Yes,
about
please.
stuff,
I'm
and
gonna forget.
and I guess because of frickin' quarantine, I'm just going to say frick it and just listen to a ton of soundtracks for musicals that I haven't listened to yet, because I was like, I'll probably see them someday, and with a lot of them now maybe never coming back to Broadway, yeah, I don't think I will be able to. So,
Dude, this took a sad tone.
well, yeah, because it's like I want to see Beetlejuice in person badly. That sound that and
Well,
Dear Evan Hansen, because with
what?
both
Look,
of them, I feel like because what people say is that they're best when in
no.
person.
Stop.
Because there's a lot of context you don't get without.
This is for
just
2 weeks from now.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, that's it. That's just a little snippet of what is to be done. Anyways, thank you guys
I'm
so
very
much for
excited.
listening to this episode
Yes,
of the Ramen
thank
Shop.
you.
Hope to see you next time at the shop, and we'll see you next time. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. This is my second channel, RamenTV. Maybe someday there'll be anime reviews along with this podcast, and it would be very much appreciated if you go to the Patreon and become a patron. All of the
That would be
funds go
freaking rad.
directly into the podcast and reviews and so on and so forth. Also, make sure to follow Howie on Twitter. Like freaking dope people recently, like freaking Luigi. I'm trying to remember his last name. The dope artist.
Uh-oh. Oh, I thought you cut out.
Oh, no, no, no. Okay, so
I was
there,
like,
yeah.
oh shoot,
So there
great
was a
time,
yeah.
great
So
timing.
there's a dope artist that I'm a big fan of, and he follows you on Twitter. I was like,
Yeah,
holy
there,
crap.
I liked a piece of his art, and apparently that day he was just following a bunch of people, so that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think I'm funny, so follow me on Twitter
Agreed.
at how does one person, it's the
Yes.
number one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, if you become a patron, I'll love you forever. So
Honestly.
my
Uh,
heart's on the line here.
mm-hmm.
I
Anyways,
love you.
we love you guys so much. Hope to see you uh, next one. And the thing is
Smooth.
that I know this has been filmed on Saturday, May 16th, 2020. The next episode will be May 30th, 2020, and it will be at 6 p.m.
Me
Mountain Standard Time.
one.
Uh,
2021 or
tw-
2020 2017.
oh yes,
May
absolutely.
30th,
We shall
2017.
go back in
Meet us
time
there.
to do so.
I mean, you could probably just search it now, actually.
Yeah.
Just binge through it. We got episodes scattered all throughout time.
Oh yeah, we do. For those who don't know, this is our fourth attempt at a podcast.
Okay.
We've had 3 previous attempts, 2 of which you can still listen to, and 1 that will be
Don't
lost
look
to
them
the
up.
annals of time.
Don't look them up.
Which is weird because they can directly see the second attempt on this channel.
Don't. Keenan likes them. I don't.
Okay. Anyways, thank you so much.
Listen to new stuff.
Talk to you next time at the shop. Bye bye.